So Louisiana new law mandates 10 commandments in public classrooms has sparked national controversy and legal challenges. The ACLU and other groups argue it violates the First Amendment, and Rachel Laser of Americans United for Separation of Church and State is stating it forces public school children of all religions to read and venerate of states' preferred brand of Christianity. What do you prefer? Which religion? You want to put LGBTQ in there? Because that's also your religion. Governor Jeff Landry's supporters, like Matt Krause of First Liberty Institute, defends the law, claiming it aligns with the original intent of our founding fathers and noting historical precedent. Krause asserted it'd be hard to argue that the 10 Commandments aren't a historical traditional part of the American educational system. The controversy may influence national political races, with former President Trump supporting the law, calling it the first major step in the revival of religion. By the way, to me, can you pull up the 10 Commandments? Rob, just pull up the 10 Commandments and see what part of the 10 Commandments is bad. Forget about the religion. Let's just say which part of these 10 Commandments are bad to teach our kids. Can you zoom in, Rob? All right. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Okay, that could be offensive because to some, they want to have LGBTQ before him. So I get why that would upset you. Number 2, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images. Okay, go to the next one, Rob. 3, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. So you're not able to say, God, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay, 4, remember the Sabbath day, keep it holy. All right, you're trying to teach me discipline for me to do what I do on Sunday. I'm okay with that. Keep going to 5. Honor thy father and thy mother. Oh, that is terrible because they would much rather have that be said, honor thy teacher and thy politician. I get it. That could upset you as well. Go to number 6, Rob. Number 6 is, thou shalt not kill. Uh-oh. Maybe they want to put something across the not, and at the end, maybe they put babies. I don't know. Maybe that's like something that, you want to kind of put there, and that's possibly something that offends you. Thou shalt not kill. Who knows? 7, thou shalt not commit adultery. Okay, go to 8. Thou shalt not steal. Basic common sense. Go to the next one. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. That's a big one because you're instigating. You don't want to divide. But God forbid, if we lose that, we can't divide people and pin them against each other. Go to the next one. 10, thou shalt not covet. Okay, so which part of these things are bad? By the way, did you guys see how the Copa America game opened up? Did you see how the Copa America game opened up with this man on stage? How he opened it up and what he said?
No.
Okay, I want you to play this, Rob, if you have it. By the way, this is on TV. We're probably not going to be able to monetize this video after we share this video. I could care less. I think the world needs to see this. Vinny, let me tell you what game this is so everybody knows. It's Argentina playing. Who's Argentina playing, Rob? Is this Argentina, Canada? I think it is. Yeah, it's Argentina, Canada. And he opens it up with this. Watch.
Mensaje de paz.
El mensaje de Cristo sigue vigente y hoy en día.
Which one are you playing, Rob? Which one are you playing? Are you playing the one I sent you, or are you playing...
This is the one that you sent me.
Okay, so do the one, find one that's in English on what he's saying. See if there's one in English. Okay, here's the one that I have. This is the one in English. Oh, you guys got to see. Oh, let me tell you, you're going to sit there, and he's saying this in Spanish, but obviously translated in English. Rob, if you can... find the one I just sent you. I think this one that I sent you shows the
subtitles.
Subtitles. Yeah. See if this one works. Watch this, folks. Watch this, folks. Watch this.
Oh, here we go.
Go ahead. Play this.
That they may have life and have it in all its fullness. A full life consists of...
No, Rob, go in the beginning so the people can hear the whole thing. Go from the beginning. Go.
Jesus said, I have come that they may have life and have it in all its fullness. A full life consists of love for each other, forgiveness towards each other, and unity with each other. This is possible when we focus on God, the source of life. God, we ask your blessing over the tournament, the nations represented, the teams, players, and families. May your peace, your protection be upon all. In Jesus' name, amen.
Wow. Are you kidding me?
Open with the prayer.
Pause it right there.
That is so sick.
He opens it up with that.
Wow.
Okay? He opens it up with that. Now, imagine you're sitting here like, wait, we can't give that kind of credit to God. We can't give that kind of credit to Jesus. We can't go. So the pendulum shifts so much that they forced so much of this ideology down people's throats that they're like, no, stop. We're going to the values and principles that raise good communities. The people like him who have the courage to get up and do what he just did, you got to applaud him. Adam, I think you want to say something about the Louisiana story.
Well, you know, this Louisiana story, it begs the question of how much do we actually believe in separation from church and state? So, you know, the conservatives typically believe in limited government. Now, this seems to be a little bit of government overreach. At the same time, we've talked about the decline in traditional values here in America, and it's slipping away. Family, community, religion, patriotism for sure, and the only thing that's actually increased is the love of money, which is nothing wrong with money. But how much should religion be a part of school? To me, school, if there's one of those values that should be a priority, it should be patriotism. Should the 10 Commandments be taught in school? Maybe. Should education be prioritized over indoctrination? For sure. But like I've said before and I've said again, let's just start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I remember in kindergarten, all through elementary school, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. That shouldn't even be a question. Like a pledge of allegiance, like believe in America, love America. There's people on the far left that actually hate America. There's people on the far right, say what you want about these people. They love America so much, they want it all themselves. But it begs the question of how much religion should be in school, separation of church and state. Now, I will say a lot of that is federal. This is whole states' rights issue. But I would lean towards having God and religion in school than out of school, and having morals and values taught to kids than not. But to just say, you know, God's being infused into all your classes, I think is a little bit of a stretch.
Tom.
Well, look, either you're a nation of principles or you're not. And if you take a look where principles have come over the course of history in governments everywhere, there's been a faith component to those principles. And even if it's the absence of what you would call traditional religion, and you have the Marxist principles of the fake elevation of the worker and the reliance on the state, that is the religion of Marxism. And so if you have no principles, you have nothing. If you have no principles are like a ruler. How do you measure anything against anything if you don't have a set of principles? And this country was founded with Judeo-Christian principles that were woven into the founding documents. And look at the 10 Commandments. 4 of those things are laws that are on the books in all 50 states. Don't kill, don't steal, don't lie. That's called perjury, right? So you've got a set of principles that are there. And I think what Louisiana is trying to say is, look, these are the principles we started with, and we're bringing them back because we think people need these principles so that we can be a well-governed, well-behaved, and, dare I say, enabling society, meaning enabling the freedom to try, the freedom to fail, the freedom of speech, and everything that goes with it. I think Louisiana's taken a strong step here, and the detractors are going to say, oh, it's religious, but they're missing the point that it's principles, and they're trying to sell you a set of their principles.
Vinnie.
I mean, very, very, very well put, Tom. But it's like we talk about case studies all the time, right? And Adam, you just nailed it. They took out Pledge of Allegiance is gone. They've taken out the 10 Commandments, all that stuff. If we go case studies, everything's been falling apart. Everything, nobody cares about the country anymore. Waving a white flag, you have people punching and hitting autistic kids that are just carrying a flag. God has been completely taken out, and that's the case study. Everything is going down the toilet, and it's like, what else do you need for proof? Okay, I do remember the Pledge of Allegiance. I was happy as a kid saying it. And by the way, 10 Commandments, people are making like they made you go down and bow down to the Bible. No, these are just core principles that I think people need to go back to, because America is declining, and I think those are 2 of the main reasons that it's going down.
Yeah, so to me, here's what it comes down to, okay? In here, between everybody in this building, okay, take me out. I'm not in it. If you had to have your kids go hang out with somebody for the weekend, with them and their kids, who would you feel safe your kids hanging out with?
In the office?
You have all these options. Okay. Who would you feel safe your kids hanging out with? They're going to go to to watch a Formula One race in Austria or Monaco. who would you feel comfortable? They're going to go to a game tonight. They're going to go to Palm Beach, to go to Breakers, to go swim for the afternoon tomorrow. Who would you feel safe your kids hanging out with and you're not there?
Generically, I would probably like the majority of the people in this building I trust.
Okay, I'm with you.
And I'm being dead serious.
And I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. But I would probably trust my kids to be with Tom, and I'm not around. Okay?
Yeah.
If my kids are around you, I'm not worried about if my kids are around you, right? You have to pick and choose who, and then you can go, who would you be comfortable your girl being around?
Yeah.
Who would you be comfortable your money being around? For example, the other day, I'm doing a podcast, guys. This is kind of weird. I shoot a video, and I leave for 12 hours, and I'm 8 hours. I'm somewhere else. I left out of $5,000 of cash sitting right here. Okay, right here. There's $5,000 of $100 bills right here. I come back. There's been 20 people in and out of this office. And Vinny's like, hey, Pat, you know you left $5,000 of cash over there? I'm like, oh, shit. Okay, great. Put it in my pocket. Don't even count, and I move on, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because we have people that we
100%.
We trust, right? Yeah. And you can go on and say, who do you trust your nephew around in your family, if you think about it? Now, you know, it typically will come down to a couple things with me. This is what it's going to come down to. The people I trust my kids around are people that live by certain values and principles that are seen and very clear, that you've seen a trend for many, many years, or because they fear something or someone or a spirit. And what do I mean by that? I trust people that fear the Lord. I just do, okay? I trust people that fear karma, okay? I just do. If a person has such a high level of fear about karma, they're typically not going to do anything dumb. If you have fear of God, you're typically going to sit there and be like, well, I gotta kind of be careful about some of the stuff that I'm doing because God forbid if I lose his favor, right? But if you don't, you're like, the hell with that. I don't care about God. He can't do nothing to me. He forgives me every single time anyways because of grace and all this other stuff. And I can keep doing it over and over and over again. He's going to keep forgiving me. That's the relationship I have. Great. So what is the benefit of me? If you go at the end of the day and we talk about all these things with church and state and all these things that we talk about, it comes down to what produces results. We have London Roberts here the other day. And, you know, she is Hunter Biden's baby mama, I think number 4, Navy, beautiful kid, right? We had a great conversation with London, and it wasn't what you would have expected. While we're going through it, you know, everybody's like, Hunter Biden's the crackhead. Hunter Biden slept with his, oldest brother's widow wife, and what kind of a piece of shit, Hunter Biden. And we keep trashing Hunter Biden, right? We keep trashing Hunter Biden. And then suddenly she says, well, I just, the one thing that made me very uncomfortable is the picture of Joe standing right next to bedside. I'm like, which picture are you talking about? Rob, can you pull up that picture? Oh. It says, Tom, you ever seen this picture?
You told me about it.
Yeah.
I've not seen the photo.
So, Tom, you've seen most things. You're a well-read guy, and you've never seen this picture. You're about to see it. Rob, you can click on it. It's right there, second one. This is Senator Joe Biden. His wife and daughter are killed on December 18th. 2.5 weeks later, he's being sworn at the hospital bedside with the kids laying there. He's been sworn in to be a senator, okay? It couldn't have waited a month or 2 more months after the mourning of your wife and your daughter. Now, this isn't like it's war and we need somebody right now to be the president. We need you to swear, we need you to do that and go through. This isn't that type of a situation.
No, LBJ in the airplane. We had to swear in the president.
We had to swear in a president. You can take your time. No, let's get this done. And let's bedside hospital your wife. And by the way, can you go to the day he got sworn in as a senator versus the day his kids died? If you just go to those 2 things, his wife and his daughter died.
And so Tom, that's Hunter and
Bo.
Bo are in the bed with broken, like one of them has a broken leg.
Yes. If you go to the date, Rob, and you just type in, the accident is December 1872, okay? And so that's the date. So just keep that date in mind, December 18, 1972. And then go to Rob, the date of being sworn in as a senator. But what date can you find? Because I think it's January 8th, if I'm not mistaken. So December 18, 1972, and then 2 weeks later, he gets sworn in as a senator. I don't know. One could say, or even worse. So January 5th. So that's exactly 2 weeks later, 2 weeks and 2 days later, 3 days later. You didn't want to mourn another, starting with a just one.
It's gaslighting.
What's gaslighting?
A small chapel at the Delaware division of the Wilmington Medical Center.
No, that's by the bedside. The kids are in the picture.
Correct. This is the Wikipedia that they are whitewashing.
But you know what happens then? Then you fast forward and you see what the final product of it is. Yeah. What is the final product?
Of the son.
So at the end of the day, go to, Israel. Does Israel teach Judaism in church, in school?
Slightly, yes. It's not mandated, but there is a large percentage of it. There is separation of church and state, and there is a large contingency. Like in Jerusalem, it's highly religious. In Tel Aviv, it's
right. Tel Aviv is like L.A., San Francisco.
Tel Aviv is like Miami and New York in the Middle East.
Right. Makes sense. But still, at the same time, they're still selling certain set of values and principles.
Yeah.
The way you judge a family, the way you judge a country, the way you judge a company, the way you judge anything is by the products they produce. If they're producing good products, don't talk about faith. If they're producing bad products, and we're seeing what's going on in society today. You ever see those videos that show you kids in high school in the 80s?
Yeah.
And the kids in high school today? You're like, what the hell happened in 40-something years? So it's simply on what produces products and what doesn't produce good products. That's how you got to judge it.
Can I add one thing?
Of course.
You're talking about products. We started off with the guy at was it Copa America? What was the?
Yeah, can you just play this clip? Let me just play it. Rob, go back a little bit and just play this clip, and then we'll go to the Copa America.
This is high school.
I can't play. Just so you know, I can't play it with music.
Oh, shoot.
As music, but it is good
play
video.
This clip.
Yeah.
So watch it. Watch this. This is 80s. Right?
Wow, dude, that's me. That's my. This is our years, huh?
High school in the 90s.
Yep. I graduated in '96. No chemtrails, Rob. You notice that?
Look at this. That's the gangster.
Look at that tank tops.
That is a video camera.
Yeah. Adam, go ahead. You were going to say something.
Those
about
are the
Copa
good old
America.
days, man. You lived in the moment. You weren't.
Phone.
Yeah,
social.
phone, social, anxiety, depression. You were in the moment. There was nothing outside that it is in real life. But the Copa America, the guy, in the Pledge of Allegiance, it's one nation under God. And God, whether you're Jewish, whether you're Christian, Catholic, whether you're Muslim, you believe in a higher power, monotheism. I think where you get into maybe people being offended is if you say Muhammad, or if you say Jesus, or if you say Moses, and then you sort of cling to that, who your prophet is. I think if you say God, I don't think too many people should be offended unless you're an atheist. But you talk about having accountability. But if you look at which countries and which products, which countries have the highest percentage of Christians? I'll just read stats for you. You let me know the product. You let me know what they stand for. So the Vatican is obviously 100% Catholic Christian. We know that. But the most Christian countries in the world, Romania, which we were for the Tate interview, 98% Christian. Armenia, 97% Christian. Haiti, that's a country that it's in a major state of flux right now, 96%. If you go to, obviously there's only one Jewish country in the world, Israel, but if you go to the highest percentage of Muslim countries, you be the judge of how these countries are doing. Somalia, 99%, country in shambles.
No work.
Afghanistan, 99%, country in shambles. Iran, where you're from, theocratic regime, 99%. Yemen, 99%. So at this point, one thing that I cannot, my enemy is extremism. Any sort of absolute extremism where you're not able to tolerate others. I think Christians are doing a better job of being a little more tolerant. You talk about Christians are sometimes too tolerant. The problem that in some of these countries, now there's failed Muslim and Arab countries, the ones I named, and there's one that are completely excelling right now. UAE, Saudi is making a major push, Kuwait. But you talked about the product. Some of the products that the Muslim world is producing is a little too extreme.
And by the way, to say something on this topic before we leave, and this is going to upset a few people, but it's where I stand and what I believe, is I think Muslims and Jews have a lot in common. Both of them, you're at risk if you criticize them. One of them could be career-ending. The other one could be life-threatening. But either way, something could end if you criticize either party. Marmari goes up there, Bishop Marmari says what he says, and he gets stabbed in his eye, and he loses his eye permanently, okay? Just because he in his own gentle way, talked about the prophet of Muslims versus the prophet of Christians, right? And there is risk. But one may say that if you're also too critical of the Jewish community, your career could be done. Yesterday I sat down with Ice Cube and had a conversation with Ice Cube. It was myself and Rob, and it was a great conversation. But you can also tell that, the position he took a year ago when he's like, I'm going to get on, Tucker Carlson, I'm going to get on this, I'm going to get on this, I'm going to get on that. His position has changed. And one of the things he said, Rob, do you remember that line? Mind your own business and you'll live longer. That was not Ice Cube's position a year ago. What happened in the last year? I don't know. Was he too vocal? Did he get out there and to say too many things? Who is the entertainment industry ran by? So, to me, this is the one thing about Christians that you gotta give them. Last night we were at the Florida Panthers game with, Edmonton Oilers. Go Florida. They won. It was a ridiculous game. Dylan was hating life because of how loud the place was. He stood like this the entire time. Yes or no, Tom?
He wears earplugs.
He had his fingers in his ears with tissue just so he can't hear anything because he needed, earplug. And I'm leaving last night, and these 4 Jews pull me aside, and two of them live in Boca, Miami, 2 of them live in New York. And I'm having this conversation with them. They're like, well, I like the conversations you guys have. It was a very, very good conversation on what we're talking about. But to me, the part about Christians, not all. I'm not sitting here blanket statement just because you're a Christian. They're generally they see the good in others. They generally see the good in others. Generally, as a faith, it's seeing good in others. And I think I like the fact that they're coming out here and just being a little bit more assertive about their views and principles. They've produced a great product. You can say whatever you want. The world comes to America, and this country was founded on Judeo-Christian values and principles. Most of the Constitution, the commandments were written purely right out of the Bible. And go to the White House, go to the, not Smithsonian, but what's the other building that you go to, Capitol, and you see all these things written in their scripture. I think they did pretty good. And, as a country that started off tiny, small, nobody knew, to become the most powerful, greatest country in the world. And what did the fall come? Oh, when we stopped praying and we stopped being proud and we stopped talking Pledge of Allegiance and we stopped doing some of the stuff. We paid a big price for that over the years. I'm going to go to the next topic, but I'll give you the final thoughts, 30 seconds.
Well, I think you are right. I think, obviously Judaism was the first monotheistic religion, and then Christianity, and then Islam. So there's, I think, a lot of uniformity in all 3 religions. But I will say that there's some validity to what you're saying, is that in the Jewish faith, there's things that they will do to maybe shut you up, as well as in the Muslim faith. Now, the difference is, in the Muslim faith, a lot of it is biblical. It is literally, you cannot criticize Muhammad. We've seen what's happened in the Charlie Hebdo attacks. We've seen this. They will kill you. There's 2 billion Muslims. What's 1% of 2 billion if they're radical? 20 million people? What's my math on that? So in the Quran, respect to the moderates and the synergists out there, they believe in jihad, they believe in the caliphate, they believe in paying the jizya, which is a tax if you're not Muslim. They believe in Sharia law, and if you don't succumb to their beliefs, they will kill you. Now, to my fellow Jewish friends, it's not biblical. Who started this thing? Moses and the 10 Commandments. Let's just go back to that. So biblically, they've set the tone for how to interact with others. Honor the mother and father, do not take the Lord in vain, do not steal, do not covet, everything with that. But I think a lot of things have changed in Judaism since the Holocaust. A lot of it is socioeconomic. The number one phrase in Judaism is never again. So there's a lot of paranoid, sensitive Jews out there, when they see these protests and when they see this stuff, they're automatically quick to say anti-Semitism. And my fear to my fellow Jewish friends is a lot of it can be the little boy that cried wolf. And you have to be careful with allegations. Now, I'd rather be silenced than killed, but I think either one is problematic.
Yeah, and I'm for neither. I'm for neither. I'm for neither one of those. I want to be able to pose my argument in a respectful way, and you can disagree with it, tear it apart, do your thing, but I'm not for my certain people's lives being at risk, and I'm not for certain people's career being at risk if they agree or disagree with you. So that's stuff. And by the way, keep this in mind. This is not a blanket statement to everybody. It's a very important disclaimer to always put out there. There is no such thing as a blanket statement to everybody across the board. This is a generalization, but it's what you see happening in on those two sides. Anyways, gang, this is why I love America. I'm America first. My team, my jersey is America. That's what I wear. Yesterday when I went to the game, Florida Panthers against the Edmonton Oilers, you know what hat I was wearing? I was wearing a Valuetainment hat. You know how many Valuetainers I saw yesterday? I couldn't even tell you. Left and right, we were having conversations with everybody because I'm convinced future looks bright. And 4th of July is around the corner. We told you guys we had a complete new merch drop, but I'm going to show, if you're looking at the, Rob, can you actually go to the store so I can tell them what's sold out and what's few items are still left or not? If you just go to vtmerch.com and go to the 4th of July right there, if you can click on that. Okay, so let's go through it. The USA hat is officially sold out. There's no more. That went in no time. The one to the left of Valuetainment, there's 37 of those to the left of that right there. There's 14 of the trucker one, whatever you want to call that, right there. There's a few shirts left. There's a few sweaters left as well. And then if you go onto homepage, there's a blowout sale of 50% that we're running for 4th of July. But here's what you got to keep in mind. If you stay at the top, Rob, the slides will switch. Here's what we're doing. This blowout sale of 50%, it's get it now before things are going to be fully sold out on 4th of July because it's still there. So my suggestion, go to vtmerch.com, place your order, have the gear ready for 4th of July, then tag us, hashtag VTMerch. I want to start showing our folks around the world, Valuetainers, wearing VT gear with VT hats. Future looks bright, and I want everybody to start finding each other. This contest we ran with the Manek people that were in town Friday, and we had dinner at Casa D'Angelo, and then we had cigars till midnight. It was so awesome talking to other Valuetainers who also love America. So, blowout sale, VT merch. Here's the QR code. Go to it. 50% off. This is a 4th of July sale. Again, all this stuff is going to sell out one by one by one. I'm just telling you in advance because you're going to see this on 4th of July. That's the QR code. Or go to vtmerch.com. Get the gear. Sport the gear. Celebrate 4th of July. Celebrate the greatest country in the world. And have the pride when you go around to other people because that's what Valuetainers do. We're going to put the link below as well. But there's also the QR code.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.